you're the MD and CEO of Axis Mutual Fund. So what's the total AUM that you are managing right now?
We managed as of the morning 3,75,000 crores.
What are some 2-3 things you look for before investing in any company?
तो एक चीज बताता हूँ, हमारा एक स्टाइल है. We look at quality and growth as a style. So we also look at how much cash flows and cash generation the business is making. Generally, we like companies which are growing at 20 plus. We also like companies with a low debt.
तो इसके अलावा और क्या गलतियां आजकल के जेनजीज कर रहे हैं जो आपको लगता है that can just make them broke?
If you look at people trading F&O, मैं मजाक में बोलता हूँ, पब्लिक फोरम में बोला है, फ्यूचर में फ्यूचर नहीं है, ऑप्शन में ऑप्शन नहीं है.
आपको लगता है small caps and mid caps are riskier than large caps in this kind of a market?
When the markets become tougher, a small cap companies को बेच नहीं सकता market. I'm not able to sell. The liquidity is always an issue. So all these are challenges. So अभी भी आप देख लो, most of the small cap funds में cash level is 10-12% हो गया. It is not lack of ideas, lack of liquidity का एक problem.
So म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्ट करने के पहले ऐसे क्या 3 चीजें जो एक रिटेल इन्वेस्टर को दिमाग में रखनी चाहिए?
Consistency देख लो, fund manager का track record देख लो. More important, also you need to look at which AMC is offering that, because how old is that AMC and how old is that fund.
In 2026, what are some sectors you are bullish on?
See, obviously,
India is currently the fastest growing large economy in the world, and if you want to take real benefit of this growth story, investing in Indian businesses and companies is non-negotiable. Whether you're already investing in markets or just starting your investing journey, Grow is one of the platforms to do it. Grow's interface is very clean and intuitive. Here you can trade stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, IPOs, bonds, even commodities, all from one app. Portfolio tracking is also very structured. You can see performance, understand sector allocation, and get a complete breakdown of your investments in just a few tabs. And because of this simplicity and trust, Grow has become India's largest stockbroker today. Check out the Grow app today for more details and stay tuned for this entire episode of Conversation with Kushal. तुम एक आर्टिकल पढ़ रहा था, आपने बताया था that you never own a house and you've always lived on rent. तो ऐसा क्यों?
I think it was not that I never bought a house. I bought a house. I think most of the house purchases are emotional reasons. I think initial days I never wanted to own a house, but I think if you look at from a return perspective, I think rental makes more sense compared to investing in real estate. But that went on. But having said that, today I own a house. Mainly, just that there is a family compulsion when you own a house. Second is that society भी एक बार एक ऐसा दिखता है ना, that if you own a house, they term you are more successful. अभी इंडिया में if you look at the investing world, it's very interesting. Is that initial days when you come to earning is around 22 years. 22 years में आपका पहला पगार आ जाता है. Post that क्या होता है? Is that you will start putting money in FD. Nowadays the trend has changed. You will start SIPs. But age of 27, 28, you want to own a house because that gives you a sense of pride. और society में आपका acceptance ज़्यादा होता है. So most of the time what happens, you are also debted with most of the EMIs that point of time. Real savings in India, typically आप देखें तो 35 years plus में हो जाता है. Because initial days आपका 60-65% of your net salary, आप net salary गिनना पड़ेगा post tax, आपका तो EMI में जाता है. So very important to think that when you are buying real estate, that is it for a personal consumption. मेरा व्यू है एक asset class है वो. I am not saying that real estate is not a asset class, but purely from asset allocation perspective, my view is that real estate is a consumption product. It's a consumption product, in my understanding. But I am not saying that people should not invest money. We also run some real estate fund. It's not that real estate is not an investable category. Okay, category. But if I'm I think from a middle class family perspective, do you want to invest in real estate? My question is that it's a consumption product. It is not an investment product from a middle class perspective.
Yeah.
ये मेरा सोच है.
Right.
Kushal, I don't know exactly what you are thinking about it, but मेरा view बहुत clear है इस issue.
तो जैसे बहुत सारे जेनजीज जो है यंगस्टर्स, आपने सही बताया कि 27-28 के हो जाते हैं, एंड देन दे वांट टू बाय अ हाउस एंड देन दे पे हेफ्टी EMIs. तो इसके अलावा और क्या गलतियां आजकल के जेनजीज कर रहे हैं जो आपको लगता है दैट कैन जस्ट मेक देम ब्रोक?
One is that maybe when you look at longevity of SIPs or longevity of any financial product or investment, typically I have an issue in terms of they exit very fast. I think they have a large opportunity to build wealth. हमारा पास टाइम वो टाइम अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं था. म्यूचुअल फंड्स वर वेरी स्मॉल व्हेन वी स्टार्ट आवर करियर. हमारा पैसा पूरा गया किसमें? Either buy an LIC policy because you get some tax break उसमें गया, and you put money on FDs. I think the biggest mistake is that they do is that how much I can stay invested. Second is that lot of mind of speculation, in the sense that I want to be a rich overnight. मेरे को 24 hours में rich बनना है. If you look at people trading F&O, मैं मजाक में बोलता हूँ, पब्लिक फोरम में बोला है, फ्यूचर में फ्यूचर नहीं है, ऑप्शन में ऑप्शन नहीं है. If you look at कितना लोग ऑप्शंस में आया, you look at how many people are in a gaming app. The substantial portion of Gen Zs have thought that I can make quick money, but that's not an instrument to make a quick money. Monies are not made in a very shorter term. मेरा एक experience है, money is made from a very very longer period of time, longer career, longer time invested in the business, long careers typically makes you much more richer or mature financially. Stability बहुत जल्दी आ जाता है. You have a long period. Speculation में नहीं होता. Otherwise, whole world would have made a lot of money. इसके लिए इंडिया में और ग्लोबली में डिवाइड है ना, रिच पुअर मिडिल क्लास, whatever divide you want to make, just because that it's all about hard work and investing for longer term. I think Gen Z का एक बड़ा है, that piece you need to think about. But आजकल Gen Z को तो एडवाइस देगा तो अच्छा नहीं लगा, because they don't have hierarchies, they don't have saying that they don't like advice at all. ये मेरा experience है. Kushal, I think I also have 2 kids at home. They don't like advisors.
Why not? Give me some
I think,
interesting
you know,
experience.
एक सोच अलग होता है, because initial days itself, the most of the Indian families are very very stable now, financially very stable. These kids don't have a financial dependence on parents, so they're independent. Substantial portion of urban and semi-urban. I'm not talking about rural is still a challenge in terms. I'm not saying that every Indian is rich. We still have per capita income issues. But having said that, when you don't have that, there are a lot of independent thinking. And today social medias have given them enough information. हमारा टाइम में गूगल भी नहीं था. That's the reason I said हम तो लाइब्रेरी जाकर ढूंढता था for a question and an answer. You may have to walk or take a bus or a bike or to reach a library. अभी तो नहीं चाहिए ना. आप गूगल करो, चैट जीपीटी करो, आपको तो आंसर मिल गया. The new generation wants instant gratification for whatever action they do. ये change है. हम तो instant तो देखता नहीं था. So they tend to challenge. They tend to challenge the norm. एक norm, आपको I think before this I also spoke about norms. एक society का norm होता है. हम ऐसे believe करते हैं parents. Then this challenge these norms. Nothing wrong about it, but then you should know what is right and wrong. हमारा टाइम में घर में you are expected to come before 9 o'clock. हमारा पास मोबाइल भी नहीं था. Mobile was not there, right? We didn't have cars. We used to. Parents were very happy. But 9 o'clock आपका time है. Now with mobile everything, you have to tell your kid to come back before 9 o'clock. It's a bigger issue at home, right? I need to spend time with my friends. I think my view is that some of the behaviors are right behaviors for kids, whatever. I think they constantly challenge the norms, and that's what the reason I think you also recruit young people in your organization. हमारे इंडस्ट्री में भी एक नॉर्म होता है, ये ऐसे ही चलता है.
You had mentioned in one of the interviews a very interesting thing called the mall money syndrome that Gen Zs are falling under. तो क्या होता है ये?
अरे यार, I think I able to talk about it. I thought I know कुशल की से पिक कर दिया ये मेरा फेवरेट टॉपिक था. When markets were one-sided, if you look at people used to take sips on a weekly basis. मंडे को पैसा डाल दिया, फ्राइडे को निकाल देता है, and they will make some 1,000 rupees, 500 rupees. ये स्टॉक में भी करता था. एक स्टॉक खरीदो, फ्राइडे तक उसको बुक करो, पैसा ले लो. That's all instant gratification. वो पैसा क्या पैसा है? End of the day, I call this mall money. वीकेंड में जाकर बर्गर खाओ, खर्चा करो. ये मेरा डेफिनेशन है called mall money, and that still plays. I think a lot of people want to do a mall money. अभी भी आप देख लो स्टॉक मार्केट में द एवरेज होल्डिंग ऑन कैश मार्केट विल नॉट बी 3-4 days. इंट्राडे छोड़ दो,
अच्छा इतना कम है?
बहुत कम होता है
Okay.
बिकॉज पीपल कॉन्स्टेंटली चर्न. सो ये एक नेचर है. You can't do anything about it because they want money and they will clip and get some money and go and spend. So long-term investing is still a larger issue.
बट इसमें पैसा बनता है क्या 3-4 दिन में
वो नहीं बनता ना.
इन्वेस्ट करके?
You will be lucky. आप एक you go to any of the so-called betting places, casino जाओ. First time you'll get right. If you have a casino mindset, you always will get right. Kushal, चलो मेरे साथ Hong Kong I can go and play. First time you always get right. The problem is subsequent time. अब F&O में भी डेटा देख लो. I used to look at data not from today, from 2009 onwards. That 95% people lose money. And 5% of people will not lose money, but they'll come next month and again they'll lose money. So we also get this data outside, right? But I think we all as market participants knew that. But the fact of the matter is it's speculation. Markets, you can't take a call based on linearity, in the sense that markets are not linear. Markets always have ups and downs. That's the nature of the markets.
Yeah.
So linearity में you can bet and say that आज मैं 10,000 रुपए डाला, कल 110 होगा, because linearity gives you that additional alpha, right? But when you have a cyclical market, when the market is volatile, वो nature है.
अभी कौन सा मार्केट चल रहा है इंडिया में?
I think the best part is that now everybody wants gold silver.
Yeah.
I think that's a frenzy. I always said that when the world will ask for one asset class, then there is a problem. I remember 2008 crash before. We used to run a very highly concentrated small cap PMS. Delivered extremely great results. 120% return on a benchmark of 50, 60, 60% alpha. So when we used to go to a client बोलता था, अरे यार, make sure that, when we say possibly 30% is good enough, the client will say no. वो रिक्शा वाला भी, चाय वाला भी देता है 30%. When you come to that direction, the market will fall. आज देखो, gold is down by 20%. My view is that every asset class has a cycle. And when you have people, DIY customers, do-it-yourself customers, just buying one asset class in the portfolio, I have seen the frenzy. अभी आप last 2 months का SIP देख लो. There is a substantial flow in gold and silver as SIPs.
ETFs में?
हाँ, across index ETF. Every gold silver fund is flush with money. And where is this coming from? Largely DIY customers, people who do their own research and come, or hearsay. Whereas manufacturers, we put across this product platforms, right? It's customers view that they will buy. But I'm not saying that DIY customers are bad customers, or so I've seen that the most intelligent customers are DIY customers.
Why do you say so?
Simple. He's not asking advice from me. He's doing some work, research work, and taking that call for himself. So I've always believed, it's always the other way around. A lot of people believe that assisted customers are most intelligent customers. Today that is changed, because DIY customers today has enough research materials before he tries to buy a product. I may be a bit contradicting when I talk about silver. Silver is a rush today going on. But if you look at sustainable basis, DIY customers have taken a better call, because they are not succumbed to any biases of advisory. So that's why you see a lot of DIY customers doing well.
Do you think that the silver rally is fake or it's a false rally?
See, मैं बहुत कुछ number दे सकता हूँ why silver can be a great thing, because there are numbers, मैं repeat नहीं कर सकता हूँ वो numbers, but I think there is a supply demand mismatch. and silver is the highest conductor of electricity. So if you have to move towards EV world, you will consume more of silver. So today आप इंडिया में ही देख लो, EV cars का penetration क्या है, 4-5% है. If it is around 10%, what will happen? The silver demand will go up. So globally, there is a large mismatch in terms of supply and demand. In my view, is that it's a very secular trend in my understanding, because unlike gold has no industrial value, right? So अभी आप देख लो, all data says that earlier, if you look at historical data, if you look at, it was 60-40. 60% is to go to industrial use for silver. Today it's 40% on non-industrial use. The number of silver users which are not industrial use, that proportion is changing. So the data point is very important to think about. So more and more industrial users, the demand goes up.
That proportion is changing to what number?
My view is that is moving up to 62-63% now. I think that is a very secular trend will happen, in my view. So there will be a mismatch. There is a demand-supply mismatch. The numbers are in open market, so anybody can.
Yeah, but now like 150% rally in maybe 2 months of silver, and today silver has crashed by, like, today morning only 14% fell down. But my point or my question here is, इतना ज़्यादा जो rally हुआ है 150% in 2 months, demand ज़्यादा है वो ठीक है, that demand is going to sustain. But is this rally like justified, because 150% in 2 months is too much? So आपको लगता है ये sustainable रहेगा या ये भी नीचे आएगा and then क्या होगा?
I think मैं एक myth break करना चाहता हूँ. I think very important, because which I have seen, people have not seen it. Typically, when you look at silver prices, you have to look at spot prices. Global spot prices and India typically will have 2-2.5% premium.
कौन सा प्रीमियम पे होगा?
India will be premium.
इंडिया का सिल्वर का प्राइस ज्यादा होगा?
ज़्यादा होगा, that was normal है.
Okay.
When it goes 8-9%, 10%, there is a problem. So recently, when you look at all the ETFs, there are a couple of ETFs. Somebody was giving 12% return, for example. Somebody is at 8%. That's because of the premium. The returns are typically bumped up because of the premium. So when you buying this commodity, please you have to look at आज का price क्या है, premium कितना चल रहा है. It is not a return. Thursday, when the supply of silver came into Indian market, it corrected. So people who came and saying this is the best performing ETF actually lost money. For example, मेरा ETF, Axis Silver ETF, was trading at 6.5% premium. That's my worry. मैं देखते रहता हूँ, suddenly I saw somebody was at 12%. But that day you got the maximum flow because customer को नहीं समझता है, because it's the best performing ETF. You understood the logic, right? Yeah. So when you buying a commodities, any commodities, आप एक spot price देखने का, spot price में कितना premium pay कर रहा है. It is not based on the actual return there. So if you're paying more premium, you should not. Any commodities in India, you should not pay more than 1.5-2% premium. A factor. So you saw this volatility. आज का gold price correction is a global correction. Spot price correct हो गया. So buying a commodity is not easy. So I'm not saying that. The second question is that how much more rally is left over. My view is that I'm not predicting that silver will go X, Y, Z. I'm not putting a number, but I'm thinking that it has an opportunity to grow as an asset class.
From these levels? Yeah,
because there is supply mismatch.
Okay.
But I don't think that you will make a superlative returns on silver from here. But it is a good allocation for your portfolio. I've been talking about since some years now, saying that India actually underwent commodities as a allocation in the asset allocation. Commodities allocation both come at low price.
Right.
Yeah, you could play through a multi-asset. You can play through a pure gold silver fund. अभी तो easy हो गया. But we were underowned. Indian citizens on investment were under ownership to some point of time.
एक बात बताओ, आपने बताया प्रीमियम जो है वो कम होना चाहिए. यू शुड नॉट पे मोर देन 1.5-2% प्रीमियम व्हेन यू आर इन्वेस्टिंग इन अ म्यूचुअल फंड. ये देखते कैसे और पता कैसे चलता है कि प्रीमियम कितना परसेंटेज और वो कैलकुलेट
अब
कैसे?
देखिए, एक आई नैव होता है. एक आई नैव देख लो. आई नैव में मालूम पड़ता है कितना.
आई नैव क्या होता है?
It's an average price there.
Okay.
You can see that. Or you simply Google about a spot price.
Okay.
And look at the ETF what is trading. You will get the answer.
Okay.
Simple है because वो आपको exchange में नहीं दिखेगा. You just Google and see.
Got it.
Find an answer.
So INAV is basically जो म्यूचुअल फंड्स में NAV होता है, नेट एसेट वैल्यू, ये ETFs में INAV होता है.
So you can always see that and look at. But simple price is look at spot price.
Yeah.
You will get an answer. MCX gold देख लो, you will find an answer. और LME में जाओ, आपको डॉलर में मिलता है. You figure out that. It's very simple to figure out.
आप सही बोल रहे थे. एक्चुअली मैं मेरे दोस्त से बात कर रहा था 3 दिन पहले, एंड वो मेरे को बता रहा था दैट LME पे सिल्वर वाज ट्रेडिंग एट $100 पर आउंस, एंड शंघाई मेटल एक्सचेंज वहां पर इट वाज ट्रेडिंग एट $115 पर आउंस, एंड उसने कोई तो भी एक ETF का इक्विवेलेंट ढूंढा दैट वाज ट्रेडिंग एट $108-109 per ounce. This is 3 days back. So he was telling that ये जो arbitrage हो रहा है, because China is like the major dominating factor for silver prices because of the shortage and all. So it is but obvious कि ये correct होगा, मतलब it will move towards $115 an ounce and there might be like a 5-6% का upside. And next day वही हुआ था. तो जो आप बोल रहे हो like price gap, arbitrage gap and then premium, I think that is happening.
You can actually simply, if at all, this podcast, you can show it in a simple format. I can come and send you across a simple format. So the viewers should understand how to buy.
Yeah.
Simple words मैं बना कर दे देता हूँ. If you are able to show the graphical presentation, I think it's very helpful for people to think about.
Sure.
Because I also thought through my team asking, sir, आपका silver तो perform नहीं कर रहा है. Because somebody is doing very well. So that's where I got in and said, ये तो हमारे investors को बताना चाहिए. Yeah. That this is education you should look at.
So ETF का जो INAV होता है, so जो आप बोल रहे हो प्रीमियम पे, so that is on the mutual fund company to decide कि क्या INAV.
Yeah, that's an average price, but I'll explain you when I get into the off call. आपको मैं एक simple representation भेज देता हूँ, so that you can show to all your viewers. Okay. Otherwise, दोनों technical बात कर सकते हैं. Sure, that I wanted to make it very simple.
Right. And अगर मैं Indian markets की बात करूँ, so you very well justified and explained about your thesis on silver right now. But at these levels, अगर मैं Indian markets की बात करूँ, Sensex, Nifty, so do you think it is overvalued? And इसमें भी आपको लगता है कुछ correction या volatility होगी?
See, my problem is that I think market में broad essence, I think Indian market कभी भी cheap नहीं था. Somebody says Indian market was cheap. It is that what you want to look at stocks and sectors and think about how much is the valuation you want to give it, right? I think the bigger problem here is that Indian macros are looking okay. I'm not saying they are extremely good. Yesterday's economic survey report also clearly mentioned that India will be in the 6.8 to 7.2 in terms of GDP. I think that seems to be okay. Our fisc is also, fisc to the GDP is also, our P&L is okay. I call it, our P&L seems to be okay. The problem is the consumption is still a bigger issue. I think it's not broad-based consumption in that sense. Corporate earnings are looking better. There are signs of private capex doing well. Yeah, our bigger issue still continues to be global. I think we are not able to predict what the global crisis looks like. Our rupee dollar equation is not favoring us. So multiple challenges there in terms of global, which I don't think people are able to predict from a India perspective. I think when that clarity comes in, I think a lot of shadows will go away, and I think we can focus on like the GST reforms is a very important one. The GST equivalent, for example, Japan and New York, for example, New York State, they call it VAT. It's only at 10%. Our median is 18%. But imagine what was the median earlier. So you're paying so much of money for consumption. So मेरा एक view है, I think all these reforms are good. So FY21 was an investment cycle where government started spending money on infrastructure. वो pure economics होता है, because when government spend, they build bridges, spend cement consumption, labor, everything gets, your employment rates also goes up, skilled, unskilled labor also workforce came in. I think government is still the largest spenders in terms of infrastructure even today. I think that well. I think last year, I think our investment and consumption started off by giving indirect tax benefit and direct tax benefit. मेरा view है indirect tax benefit ज़्यादा impact नहीं होता country like India. because 12 lakhs number of people filing returns. Indirect tax actually doesn't contribute much. The direct taxes like GST reforms has worked. But if you really look at it and say whether this demand is going to sustain, is what we need to look at. अब एक चीज क्या है ना, there is always a debate about rural consumption versus urban consumption, right? Lot of companies today are not able to capture the rural demand or an urban demand because these are not listed companies, but they may reflect in your other numbers because the consumption pattern has changed. Gen Zs are not buying the same product what we used to buy. The most of the consumption happens through Insta or Facebook. So in that sense, these brands are not available in the listed companies. So it gets picked up on some other metrics of the economy, but listed companies may not. That's why if you look at volume growth and FMG, FMG is at 2-3%. FMG companies. Historically, if you look at most SMG companies have delivered fantastic returns, right? Today, why is that FMG companies are, there are changing habits. I also said that once in a public forum is that change of behavior of investors also happen. We as manufacturers, as asset management companies to think about it. Because they get so much influenced by influencers. Their way of looking products have changed. Their requirement of products have changed. Both could change. I think that change has happened. So, to simple answer is that I think market should look much better from next quarter one onwards. I don't see next 2 quarters markets can be well because you require FI, FDI. I think that's the lowest point. We gave exit to most of the private equity investors this year, and that's a sad thing. And Indian investors bailed out most of the foreign investors today, right? You look at most of the companies which came on IPO was a PE deal. ये सब PE investors था ना, ये लोग सब took the money away. So I think we are entering into a very challenging period of markets now, as in equity markets. Very challenging. But markets will always remain challenging. I'm not saying it not.
आपको लगता है small caps and mid caps are riskier than large caps in this kind of a market?
It always was riskier. From a risk profile perspective, small cap and mid cap was. But having said today, yeah, when the falling markets cap, small cap becomes much more trickier. Why it is trickier? I think investors should know. बिकॉज आप एक म्यूचुअल फंड में स्मॉल कैप में पैसा दे रहे हैं बट आई हैव टू पुट मनी ऑन स्मॉल कंपनीज. वो अच्छा मार्केट में मेरे को खरीदने को मिलता है, बेचने का हो सकता है. व्हेन द मार्केट्स बिकम टफर, ये स्मॉल कैप कंपनीज को बेच नहीं सकता मार्केट. आई एम नॉट एबल टू सेल. द लिक्विडिटी इज ऑलवेज एन इशू. सो ऑल दिस आर चैलेंजेस. सो अभी भी आप देख लो मोस्ट ऑफ द स्मॉल कैप फंड्स में कैश लेवल 10-12% हो गया. It is not lack of ideas, lack of liquidity problem. So whenever you have market corrected, आप एक relative valuation देखते हैं, relative valuation between market cap, between large, mid and small. So we find large cap being much more cheaper compared to all these companies, relative basis. So the flow should come to large cap. So मेरा एक ही view है, if you are really looking at mutual fund invest, आप ये क्वेश्चन मेरे पूछेगा, so I know that. So I had to preempt this question and say that if I have money, I think I look at flexi caps. एक रीजन है इसके लिए, because most of flexi cap का 65-70% allocation on the large cap में. I think it's much more comfortable for a fund manager to manage. So आपको एक flavor मिलता है and you are not taking that risk of liquidity which I spoke. पहला बात किया ना small cap. आप small cap कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट करें तो यही प्रॉब्लम होगा आपको, that whenever a correction comes, generally small caps and mid caps correct faster than the large cap.
So let's say I'm 25 right now and I have 10,000 rupees per month to invest in mutual funds. तो आपके हिसाब से आइडियल क्या म्यूचुअल फंड एसेट एलोकेशन होना चाहिए ऑफ दिस 10,000 रुपीज पर मंथ? कैसे मैं इन्वेस्ट करूं और कौन से टाइप के फंड्स में इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए?
The first thing I say that when before investing, एक simple principle है मेरा, mutual fund is subject to market risk. मैं वो नहीं बोल रहा हूँ.
Emotional risk.
It's emotional risk. Because you need to have a clear, if you are 25 years, I will say that you have a fantastic another 30-35 years to. अभी अभी जन से पूछता हो ना, they will tell me that I want to retire by 35. Right? आप किससे पूछ, मैं 35 years में रिटायर होने का है. But I also said that, but अभी भी मैं 55, 56 में हूँ, अभी तक रिटायर नहीं हुआ. I'm still batting quite well in that. I think मेरा view है, you have to look at flexi cap, one opportunity. I think look at flexi cap, and you also can look at large and mid, a bit of foreign exposures, global exposures. There are mutual funds which are have a small exposure, not a large exposure, but a longer term. I think you're getting India plus some bit of international exposure, and when you become much more in terms of investing over the years, you'll make more money. Then think about allocating in different asset classes, which is gold, silver at that point of time. You can also think about looking at some passives at that point of time. I'm not saying the active is only one part to look at. Passives will be अच्छा है. You should take that if you're cost conscious.
The expense ratio in passive funds will be lesser as compared to active
but
funds.
you also will get less return because
Yeah.
it will be against the index.
Right. So अगर मैं वापस 10,000 की बात करूँ तो इसमें आप बोल रहे हो फ्लेक्सी कैप में डाल सकते हो लार्ज एंड मिड कैप. तो
Large and mid with
foreign
international,
exposure.
yeah.
Correct.
There are a couple of funds in there.
Okay, got it. And what proportion should be allocated to each of these according to you? 50-50, 40-60?
I'm okay to do 50.
Okay.
I think that's a fair thing.
Fair. And then
मैं एक दूसरा चीज बोलता हूँ that you should have not more than 6 to 7 mutual funds.
Okay. Why?
Because if you look at commonality between all the companies, what we invest, अब एक large cap scheme देख लो, 4 scheme देख लो, 4 different AMCs का, आप पैसा डालेंगे 4 में, but end of the day, if you look at commonality between all this, will be 60-70%. आप ऐसा करना चाहिए that you should not look at based on only outcome. एक product का एक merit होता है, एक outcome होता है. I've always seen the returns are not sustainable. Merit sustains. Pella, when you look at, right thing to look at is 3-year rolling period. But having said that, please look at consistency of that fund manager. Because up to 3-year rolling decay hoga, it's a mathematical exercise. But what do you look at? How consistent is?
So म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्ट करने के पहले ऐसे क्या 3 चीजें जो एक रिटेल इन्वेस्टर को दिमाग में रखनी चाहिए?
एक चीज तो देख लो, saying that how the track record of the fund manager, very very important. Because if the fund manager have been consistent in delivering, may not be a number one fund, but if he is there in a top 5 or top 6 consistently, because number one will never be number one forever. We all seen it, they will all fall up. But somebody is at third fund, fourth fund, fifth fund, and being consistently there, I think they deliver better. So consistency देख लो, fund manager का track record देख लो. More important, also you need to look at that, which AMC is offering that, because how old is that AMC and how old is that fund. Lot of people have a debate in terms of size. बहुत लोग बोलते हैं बड़ा साइज है तो परफॉर्मेंस कम हो जाता है. आई नो आप ये क्वेश्चन में और एक बार पूछने वाला है, बट आई प्रीएम्प्टिंग दैट एंड अगेन. आई थिंक एक मिथ होता है, एक मिथ होता है. इट्स नॉट ट्रू, because there's nothing called larger fund and a smaller fund. I think if you have a very strong investment process, large aims is like a very strong investment process. उसमें वो framework में we are able to manage, especially large funds, large cap funds. Yeah, small cap में थोड़ा struggle होता है. When you have struggle, आप क्या करते हैं? आप तो बहुत ज़्यादा stock ले लेते हैं. आप बड़ा fund देखो small cap में. We manage only 27,000 crore. There are 3 or 4 funds हमारे से बहुत बड़ा है. तो 200 stock होगा, 250 stocks in small cap.
आपके इसमें कितने हो गए?
Yeah,
60,
120, 130 stocks. Before small cap rally, हम तो था 70-75.
Okay.
So one way to manage is to build the breadth. But when you build the breadth, आप तो sometimes will hug only to the index. Index return आ जाएगा. Alpha तो थोड़ा कम होगा. But it's a theory, but I've seen people have done well also. It's not that. तो 3-4 चीज देख लो. These I call merits. And when you invest, आपका आइडिया रहना चाहिए 3 to 5 years. I don't want that money. That's how you should think about. इसमें थोड़ा साइकोलॉजिकल प्रॉब्लम है, साइकोलॉजिकल चैलेंज भी होता है. That's why I said you have more money, and when you plan for the mutual fund, for example, and you have to do financial plan, make towards a goal. मेरा लाइफ में एक सीख लिया था. मेरा हार्ड mistake in which I done is several mistakes which I did in my career on savings. Not me as an investing guy, but savings is that you need to plan for a goal. If you do that, I think you'll do extremely well.
So goals as in like education,
For example,
marriage,
you want to do a higher education, or you want to buy a house, or you want to buy whatever. You have a goal. Everybody has a goal in life, right? Or somebody, a Gen Z will come and tell me that I want to retire by 35. लगाओ मैच में फिट करो, आ गया तो करो आप. Who will stop you? Nobody will stop you, right?
Do you think Gen Zs can retire by 35?
देख, ये एक लेसन में देखा. That's why I said Gen Zs break norms. वो लोग नॉर्म ब्रेक करता है. I think some Gen Zs are successful. हमारा नॉर्म क्या था? My dad believed that he has to retire at 60, and 60 में I think he never had a conversation that I'll retire. 60 में रिटायर करके बोल दिया मैं रिटायर हो गया हूँ. हमारा जनरेशन क्या था? हमारा जनरेशन डिस्कस्ड अबाउट रिटायरमेंट व्हेन ही स्टार्टेड वर्किंग. इन द सेंस हम 35-40 हो गया, ये बहुत हो गया कॉर्पोरेट लाइफ, मेरे को रिटायर करने का है. आई वांट एक्स अमाउंट ऑफ मनी. सो एवरी मनी ही डबल्ड. सो आई विल से ओके, मेरे पास 3 करोड़ रहेगा ना, मेरे कल रिटायर होगा. वो 3 करोड़ हो गया, बट यू डोंट रिटायर बिकॉज यू वांट टू गेट 10 करोड़. This is how the life begins for us. But I think Gen Z world, my view is that they are very definitive. Clarity hai. And this is not the India what we see it, right? We have seen, my father has seen a different India. I saw a different India because I was lucky in India. I was the most luckiest guy born. You know that, right? You know why? People born on 1940s retired poorly. मैं एक लिखा था बहुत साल के पहले, एक आर्टिकल लिखा था. सिंपल है, because your father retired when we had a liberalization 90s. I came to workforce in early 90s, because I was born in 1970. The people who were born in 1970 are the most luckiest. Then came people who were born in 1990s. They're the most confused people.
Why?
They don't know what to do.
I'm in
Because
that
India is
category.
different that time. 1940s का, early 40s का India अलग था. 1990 का 1970 का India when I was born was different. 1990 का India was different. तो मैं एक दिन लिखा था, इसको बारे में लिखा था, how lucky we are. I think people who had started their career late 60s, early 70s are the most luckiest people because they have seen India growing. 1994, 92, 94 when liberalization happened, Indian economy got opened up. हम क्या क्या पढ़ा था school days में, including my MBA days or my graduation days, were all other way around, right? We learned of communism, we learned of socialist societies, we talked about tariffs, हजार things थे India में. Suddenly, it's all rewritten and we became part of, for example, that's what I said, I grew around, I'm a real India story guy. They're born on India. Right? The story was unfolding. So I always said, चलता हुआ गाड़ी में बैठ गया. But I think problem is people in 90s are very confused what they want. And we are the people who handle them. Is it? I don't know whether you are born post that, but I think I'm not saying that.
1999.
Yeah, I'm talking about early 90s, right? They udhar ka nahi, idhar ka nahi hai world. And these are population of people I work with. Young population work age of 30, 31.
Yeah. तो इनके साथ any interesting anecdote or story that you have while working with Gen Zs in your organization? Like, how is it different for you to work with a senior person versus when you're working with a Gen Z?
So Gen Z is directly, if you have to, आप एक बार सोचो, if they are rightly directed, they are the most loyal and they can get work done very fast. The question is that they will not ask you why. They will ask why initial days. Then they will get concluded and saying this is what we have to do and they'll go ahead and do it. I think you become older, you will ask why not. I think in that sense, working with Gen Z is much more comfortable. But the problem here is that Gen Zs don't work for longer period of time. I think their level of patience levels are much lower than that. Outcomes are fantastic with Gen Zs. Most ideas in our organization, I personally bounce on these people and look at and say, why can't we do this? And they come with a fantastic answer. मैं बोला ना मेरा एक व्यू है. For example, we also run a digital business. There are a lot of youngsters, and we want to be that way in the sense that they come with the different ideas. एक दिन I will not tell the speaker. एक दिन मेरे को बोला था तुम लोग सब पापा कंपनी है. Very famous founder. I'll not name him. One day I asked him why we don't attract Gen Zs. बोला तुम लोग पापा कंपनी है. मैं पापा कंपनी नहीं हूँ. We also have to change. I think we have changed a lot because they challenge hierarchies. And it's good to challenge hierarchies. हमारा लाइफ में एक स्टोरी था ना, we want to remain organization flat structure. वो बातें होता है. हमारा पास भी org structure होता है. Org structure में bureaucracy बनता है. They want to break every bureaucracy and challenge ourselves. And that's how it has to be. I think that's a change of culture, what most of the organization going through. And we as old people, I'm not old, but we as oldies born in 70s has to take up the challenge and accept that this is a reality and go ahead. ये तो norm है. So you're the MD and CEO of Axis Mutual Fund. So what's the total AUM that you are managing right now? We manage now, as of the morning, 3,75,000 crores. Wow. And this is both equity and mutual funds. Another 15,000 crores on the alternate side. Okay. We manage on real estate, PMS, private equity, private credit. That's a new business we started last 5-6 years back. 2019 we started that. So I think that's what I do. So you're the best person to answer this. So you're managing 3,75,000 crores in Axis Mutual Fund. A lot of wealth is being generated. So when you invest in companies and stocks, and if there's any retail investor who's watching this who wants to invest in stock markets, what are some 2-3 things you look for before investing in any company? And what are some 2-3 red flags that you think that ये अगर होगा तो यहाँ पे पैसा नहीं डालना है? First of all, I come from a mutual fund. But interestingly, I have a background of being a broker. I ran the broking company. मैं एक चीज बताता हूँ लोगों को that if you're a god stock picker, don't come to me. आप मेरे को फी मत दो. You should go and invest directly. मेरे को कुछ problem नहीं. But then most of the people will not say that, right? So I'm very clear about it. So what we do is that when we look at, we obviously look at the management capabilities. I think what we like is transparency of management, delivery and consistently delivering. Consistency is very important. What they speak to the street. So that we look at. We also look at, very important, look at the sectors. what sectors we look like and what we like. तो एक चीज बताता हूँ, हमारा एक स्टाइल है. We look at quality and growth as a style. Okay, so we'll be a bit biased in that sense that what we look at may be a bit different than guys who are looking at value style or a momentum style. So एक मैं disclaimer डालता हूँ in that sense. So we also look at how much cash flows and cash generation the business is making and how does the growth looks like. Generally, we like company which are growing at 20+% growth. I think that's what we like. We also like companies with a low debt. Low debt. So very important to look at. The red flags are typical red flags. What we also do is that's what our research is very in depth. We do a lot of channel checks, and we also run some forensic test on the customers P&L, and so we figure out that any mismatches we get called out.
Can you give me an example of a mismatch?
The typical mismatches saying that what number is trying to commit on the street versus actual numbers are.
And how do you do that?
We do channel checks.
Okay.
So they will say I will do X projections, but the number to better nahi. The mass doesn't fit in. Very important. For a layman, I also tell is that when I used to lending business में था मैं, when you are to lead balance sheets and P&L, अभी एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट है, अब क्या पढ़ता है पहला?
बैलेंस शीट.
मैं उल्टा पढ़ता हूँ. पहला मैं नोट्स टू द बैलेंस शीट पढ़ता हूँ. Then I will go to the numbers. Broadly numbers सबको पता रहता है ना, ये कंपनी में क्या चल रहा है. Broad number EPS क्या है, ROE क्या है, ROA क्या है, फिर बैंक. You broadly understand all these things. वो समझ में आता है हम लोग. But the notes will give you a lot of disclosures. और एक red flag बताता हूँ. One bank came, there are banks which will come and until Q2 great results. Q3 अब बोलता है मेरा provisions बढ़ गया. So you suspect that, right? हमारा very important for us also is to look at quality of earnings. Earnings का quality क्या है? That means core business में क्या हो रहा है? Because हर business में cash होता है, वो भी generate करता है returns. But idea is to strip down and see ये quality क्या होता है उसका. आपका operating profit क्या है? Because बड़ा NBFC में आपका treasury income भी होता है, बड़ा banks में treasury भी होता है ना. What is important to figure out the operating profit क्या होता है. इसके लिए मैं example लिया हूँ. There are different metrics for different business to look at quality of business, but quality of business and quality of revenue is very important. There are some times you will get tax refund, for example. वो आप दिखा देगा ये साल मेरा प्रॉफिट ऊपर गया, नहीं तो कुछ प्रोविजन आप रिवर्स कर दिया. This all doesn't count for the quality of earnings. So there are metrics which we look at. For a simple terms, when somebody has to buy a stock, मैं summarize करता हूँ that what you need to look at is that your ability to read balance sheets and P&Ls are very important. Understand the sector, understand the promoter, understand the management. ये फ्लो में चलाएगा आपको कुछ तो कुछ आंसर मिलेगा. And try to figure out what is the sector view, because हर sector एक cycle में होता है. The cycles are important.
In 2026, what are some sectors you are bullish on?
See, obviously, capital goods are doing okay. BFSI is one of the areas which we are overweight. Capital goods we are overweight. Lot of overweight has happened on the manufacturing companies, because that's a theme which we've been working on. So broadly, आप मेरा fund देखेगा largely. Consumption side we are at 35-40%, and we are at 30-35% on the manufacturing side. So I think that's the balance we are trying to do, because some point in time there is manufacturing companies did extremely well. There is a flow of orders came in. इसके लिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना, एक जमाने में आप एक डिफेंस फंड देखो, अमाउंट ऑफ मनी फ्लो टू डिफेंस फंड. मैं सोचा था क्वेश्चन तो वही क्वेश्चन पूछेगा मेरे को. A lot of sectoral funds got money, right? So मेरा एक व्यू है, आई एम नॉट अगेंस्ट सेक्टोरल फंड. मेरा एक ही व्यू है, इफ यू आर पुटिंग मनी ऑन सेक्टोरल फंड और एनी सेक्टर में बेट करता है, you should look at whether it is well diversified or not. Then I have an answer whether this has to be my part of my portfolio. आपका 6 SIP में ये पांचवा है, दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. लोग क्या करते हैं? I have seen some portfolio more than 100 SIPs. आई एम नॉट जोकिंग, मैं मजाक में नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, ये फैक्ट है. पीपल बाय लाइक स्टॉक. मैं पहले एक ही एग्जांपल दिया ना, आप एक लार्ज कैप देख लो, 4 स्कीम निकालो, 60-65% भी सिमिलर.
100 SIPs is too much.
या
Why? I mean, why will someone do 100 SIPs?
समझता नहीं. He's thinking that he's buying a stock, right? खरीद रहा है. So the fact of the matter is that
मैं भी पहले आई थिंक 12 to 14 स्कीम्स में SIP करता था, बट अभी मैंने थोड़ा कम करके उसको 7-8 कर दिया है.
7-8 is also still okay.
Yeah.
But आप एक बार सोचना पड़ेगा कितना commonality of stocks we are buying. Ultimately mutual fund क्या होता है? I am buying stocks on your behalf and you are paying me a fee. Simple business है. बट आप तो आर्ट स्कीम है. आर्ट स्कीम में आप देख लो, इफ यू बाइंग 2 फ्लेक्सी फंड्स, you have to understand कितना common stocks लिया है between the 2 fund managers. If there is more commonality, you have to do one. इसके लिए lot of advisors, mutual fund advisors, distributors, they do a great work helping them.
Or I think financial literacy is also something which is very important, and I think it needs to be taught in schools as well. तब जाके ये
Yeah.
सब का knowledge थोड़ा मिलना शुरू होगा. I think that's
So
the
what अभी
biggest
change हो
problem.
गया ना, CBSE curriculum में 10th standard में there is a one session on mutual funds, financial planning and all. That's the first move. I think it's done well.
Yeah, I think even new education policy has the
Yeah.
financial literacy
Financial
as one of
literacy,
the
yeah. So we
subjects
do
and
work
skills.
very, we have a lot of programs what we run because we also have university education programs in place. In fact, very interesting, हमारा एमसी का हिसाब से हम लोग 5 districts डेवलप करने का. I ensured that we had adopted another 4 more now. So we run 9 IAP centers across the
IAP is Investor Awareness Program.
programs, and we adopt, it's a district adoption program.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
तो आपने बताया कि कैपिटल गुड्स, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, कंजम्पशन, ये थीम्स पे आप बुलिश हो. व्हेन यू से कंजम्पशन, तो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली यू मीन एंड क्या
So
टाइप
you
के
have platform
इंडस्ट्रीज हो रहे हैं?
companies, you have platform companies. These are the companies. I can't name the companies,
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
I'm saying broad sense that platform company. Anything which is B2C.
Okay.
आपको broadly में hint दे दिया.
तो आपको क्या क्या ट्रेंड्स लग रहे हैं जो ये थीम में ड्रिवन है? लाइक लेट्स से प्रीमियमाइजेशन एक हो गया.
See, one is premiumization. See, manufacturing is a great play because you have a PLI schemes coming in. I think you have great boost of manufacturing in the country. Make in India actually has really picked up. I think just think about this in 90s when government gave enough sops to IT industry. Look at where the IT industry is today because government supported them, right? We become more price competitive in the international market. My view is that India will become fairly large player in couple of categories in manufacturing, maybe in semiconductors or in the your phone manufacturing. I think there are areas which is identified by the government. I think Make in India program will really do well because the first 5 years was all about setting up, giving a support. Today, if you look at most of the EMS companies, they have done fairly well. I think we have become a suppliers for most of the great brands across. I think that is one thing. Manufacturing is another thing. Manufacturing also, if you look at, you also have given a lot of focus on domestic thing. For example, if you look at defense manufacturing, rail transport, the large opportunity because India went through a large refurbishing of their old railway racks. If you look at, You have metros which is coming in. So today, I think 70% of these metro wagons are indigenized completely. It's manufactured in India, built in India. Earlier, the carriages to come somewhere outside. Mechanicals will be fitted here. Electricals are fitted here. Today, substantial portion of your, I'm just giving an example, is manufactured in India. Consumption obviously is great economy, the great population here. Uh, Sometimes you may think that it is over talked about. Let me be very frank about it. I think when you look at consumption today, low value consumption has done very well. Low ticket size consumption has done well. And you have a premiumization happening. Because if you look at, uh, think about the cars, the substantial portion of the cars, Pehla was 5 lakh below price tag. Today is typically 12 lakhs and above. Cars have moved from sedan to SUVs, right? Maybe we all thought that roads are bad, पानी कभी भी आ सकता है इसके लिए हमको ऊंचा वाला गाड़ी चाहिए इसके लिए होगा. I think that changes has happened. Consumption in India has become much more aspirational. Indians have now, you travel across the world, you see them. When I started traveling in 98, very difficult to see Indian in any place. Today, look at the amount of consumption we're doing. People are now become much more global in that sense. Lastly, I think Indians have become much more aspirational. I think consumption is happening in the country. As I said, it may not be picked up by listed companies. A lot of consumption is happening on unlisted side. That means these brands are not part of the listed companies. So it's paying both for it.
And when you say कि unlisted companies में ये काफी ज्यादा आ रहा है, so in this case like retail investors को अगर इसमें participate करना है, so what is like the way for them?
I
to
don't think
invest?
retail investors can participate in that journey because they will come on recently there are 3-4 IPOs came. The low value apparel company, it's a platform company. I don't know how to name that though. So India, you will have an opportunity. It's not that today all these opportunities are with the private investors. I think that will slowly will come to public markets.
What has been your best and worst investment in your entire journey? Financial investment.
Yeah, best investment in my life is that what that? Yeah, I kept my mutual fund for 15-20 years.
Okay.
I never saw that. I realized it later, saying, it's a very strong compounding in that sense. The mistake I've done is that two things I've done a mistake. I didn't save early in life. A bada mistake in life. Maybe for some reason I not saved, but I think I spent it well. So one of my professor in my MBA days told me that earning money is not important, spending is important. And if you're staying as a bachelor, start borrowing at age within 20 days time.
Start borrowing.
Borrowing from your roommates. I was telling a joke, but I took it seriously. Looks like. So वो हिसाब से yeah. Second mistake I've done was that I was trying to save tax, and my investment are not focused on goal. That's why I said always that I think अब कभी भी मेरा कम podcast ना होएगा, but wherever I say that goal planning करो goal plan. My mistake in life was that I only looked at saving tax, hence I invested. So I had I had 2 or 3 LIC endowment plans. When I got into financial realization, I was always good at finance, but I financial realization. Suddenly I started realizing because that time the avenues were very very small. You had a national SEM certificate, Kisan Vikas Patra. Then you had all these things, and you have UTI master plan. What was avenues? Mutual fund was very small. Nobody understood what is mutual fund. And then the stock market. So people, when you look at investment stock market, means they're looking at it and say, yeah, paisa bana. But there's also stigma at that time. Anyway, at that point of time, I want to be in stock market, but I didn't get a job there. I got a job in 2003 being a stock market. But what I'm trying to say is that I saved money based on what tax saving I want to. and the agent used to come and give me 3 premiums free. वो तो नवंबर से negotiate करने के because January में you have to file the return, right? Then I realized after 3 years I did a stupid mistake and I never paid. They would have forfeited that point of time. I never continued. Even today, I have insurance to the extent of cover. I never invest in insurance at all. One product I never understood. Uh, Somebody asked me, I always said one thing, Kushal, that please invest in simple products. Somebody asked me what the definition of simple product is. I said, if I don't understand the product, it's not simple for me. And the product which is not simple, I will not advise a customer. Because if I don't know the product, I will never go and tell the customer to buy. So that's the definition of simple. एक स्टेज में पूछा था मेरे को, मैं बोला सिंपल प्रोडक्ट बेचो, uncomplicated product बेचो. So I asked, my definition of simple is that if you are able to understand the product, then it's simple, right? Then you know minuses and pluses of the product. So these two mistakes I did. To summarize, it's all about started very late for some reason.
What age did you start investing?
Don't tell me in open forum. I'll have a problem, but it's
I guess 35.
yeah. All Indians have 35 because you will buy a house at 28 because you have to conquer the world and tell the world that I own a house, right? And that's your coming up and to bracket your the successful son or a husband or a son-in-law.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what my belief is.
Oh, that's the norm. Yeah, you're right.
That's a norm.
Yeah. What age did you buy your first house?
28.
Oh, 28 itself.
I built a house for my parents.
Oh, wow. Where was this?
In place of Palakkad, in my hometown.
Okay.
It's still there.
Oh, nice. And then
But I repaid back quickly, I think. Yeah.
The EMIs.
I paid the EMIs very fast.
Okay. And the second house, you bought it recently?
Yeah. No, second house I bought, I said no. Some emotional reasons. You have to have a house.
When did you buy that?
I bought it in when I was 33, 34.
Oh. And you bought another house recently?
Yeah.
How many houses do you have?
Then I've sold houses.
Okay.
So I bought another house for my living. A small house in Bombay. I could afford only so much. So I bought another house now. And before that, I sold a house.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you would have picked up this conversation because I said a lot of people that real estate is for consumption.
And I think in one of the interviews you mentioned that you prefer living on rent versus owning the house.
So that is always a said, but you have families to not backing up that idea, right?
Yeah. How did your wife react when you said you want to live on rent?
So that conversations lived very short. Short-lived conversations.
You have a very interesting theory of difference between saver and an investor. What's the difference between a saver and an investor? And मेरे को क्या बनना चाहिए, saver या investor?
So if you're investing in mutual fund, you are a investor. You're not a saver. Lot of people think that you're a saver because you're investing in a company. Lot of people doesn't understand. If you're putting money on an FD, you're a saver.
Oh.
But if you are investing in stock market, you're not saving. You are investor. ये difference लोग को मालूम नहीं. If you know this difference, आपका risk आपका समझता है. When you don't know this difference, आपको ये risk level आपका समझता ही नहीं. My conversation in one of the forums on this was how to understand risk. Fundamentally, मेरे retail investors, common normal investor को क्या आप कितना सेव कर रहे हैं? तो मैं म्यूचुअल फंड में 10,000 सेव करता हूँ. मैं बोलता है उसमें आप इतने इन्वेस्टर है. But he thinks that saving in mutual funds is a saving. I agree on that. But you're an investor because you're a shareholder of a company. You will go towards success and failure of that company. एक conversation हो गया था years back that when IT company, large IT company was making a lot of money, All their employees made a lot of money. पेपर हेडलाइंस आता था. वो टाइम मैं बैंगलोर में रहता था. हम भी सोचा था हमको भी इतना अमीर बनने का यार. सो ऐसे ही सेल्स कॉल में गया था. वो टाइम में गाड़ी बेचता था, गाड़ी फाइनेंस करता था, फोर्ड क्रेडिट कंपनी में काम करता. सो आई मेट द इन्फोसिस एम्प्लॉय. तो आप बहुत कमाया. मैं बड़ा गाड़ी भेज रहा हूँ, फोर्ड एस्कॉर्ट, दैट टाइम द बिग कार. He said I afford it because I own ESOPs of this company. Company का नाम छोड़. I said, yeah, good. And he became a bit closer. Second time I गया था documentation के लिए. Then I saw his net worth. Pen तो सही भी नहीं किया. So he said, yeah, you saw that. मेरे को बोलता है, you also can become richer like me by this company. So this is what uh, investor will make. You are part of the company. You are part of the promoter. You're putting money along. He taught me that point of time, saying, if that day I would have decided to put money, I would have been not sitting in front of you for sure. I don't know what I would have done, but I wouldn't have worked looks like. He told me that I became richer because my company gave me so much stocks. I'm able to. And he was a young guy. He was not old. He was in the same age. हमको कंपनी गाड़ी मिलता था, वो खुद का कमाई का गाड़ी ले रहा था. And he was very proud with his family signing. So it was very lessons for me is that you have to differentiate between a saver and investor. Investors will generally should make more money than savers. Yeah. Because you are taking a risk much higher than a saver. That's how you see the differential of returns in both categories.
Yeah. A lot of people invest, like a lot of people save money while putting in FDs, and that you're saying is like saving, and that is not going to make you returns at all.
No, that's not going to make any. Because you're not taking a risk, right? You're not taking a risk.
तो इन्वेस्ट अगर करना है, सो इन्वेस्टर अगर बनना है, तो लेट्स से लाइक म्यूचुअल फंड्स इज वन ऑफ द इजीएस्ट वेज टू बिकम एन इन्वेस्टर. अभी इसमें भी लाइक कमिंग बैक टू आवर प्रीवियस कन्वर्सेशन वेयर यू सेड दैट कि 3-4 चीजें ये ध्यान में रखनी है बिफोर इन्वेस्टिंग इन म्यूचुअल फंड्स. वन ऑफ द अदर थिंग्स इज ऑल्सो अ म्यूचुअल फंड फैक्ट शीट विच इज देयर पब्लिकली, एंड ये जैसे स्टॉक का एनुअल रिपोर्ट होता है वैसे म्यूचुअल फंड का फैक्ट शीट होता है जहाँ पर सब कुछ डिटेल पता होती है. सो इफ यू कैन जस्ट गाइड अस कि हम लोग अगर फैक्ट शीट पढ़ने जा रहे हैं म्यूचुअल फंड की, तो क्या पढ़ना चाहिए और क्या कैसे इवैल्यूएट करना चाहिए कि ओके हाँ ये फैक्ट शीट सही है और इसमें इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए, और ऐसे 2 या 3 क्या चीजें फैक्ट शीट में जो हमें देखनी चाहिए.
इसके लिए तुम्हारे साथ और एक स्पेशल सेशन करना पड़ेगा because I'll take long time to explain in terms of what ratios we should look at. And maybe we can do one more with somebody else talking about it. I think before that I'll tell you. आप एक you also came to the same story about investor savers, right? एक मिथ है वर्ल्ड में, especially F&O में. Investing in F&O is not investing. वो स्पेकुलेशन है. बिकॉज आपका तो अंडरलाइन नहीं रहता है. आपके पास एक स्टॉक है, आप फ्यूचर्स में खरीद रहे हैं, बहुत बात अलग है. दिस इंस्ट्रूमेंट इज ओनली फॉर हेजिंग एंड रिड्यूसिंग वॉलेटिलिटी. सिंपल है. लॉट ऑफ जेंजीज एंड लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु इन्वेस्ट इन स्टॉक मार्केट, they tell that F&O is I'm investing. They're not investing, they're speculating. ये बड़ा डिफरेंशियल है. So one is saving, investing and speculating. ये 3 बॉक्स होता है.
Yeah.
So आप आपका पोर्टफोलियो में देखो आप क्या कर रहे हैं. Okay. तो coming to fact sheet तो disclose होता है. That every 30 days के बाद we take 7-8 days to publish it. It's the most transparent, basically saying that आपका पोर्टफोलियो में क्या क्या ओन किया है. We'll come back to the ratios maybe some point in time. There are a couple of ratios you should look at. One is Sharpe ratio, beta, very important to look at. Information ratio देख लो, standard deviation देख लो, 5-6 चीज करना चाहिए. It will actually give a direction in terms what is the fund manager thinking. Simple. Let's talk about beta. Beta is a basis of volatility. Basically, if you say that my beta is 0.8, that means it will not go more than 0.8 in terms of alpha return. For example, abhi market mein what is happening in the market is that the volatility is 100 your portfolio will be volatile by 80%. That's a mark. So always when you look at the risk levels, what you take, so look at beta. The beta is 0.8, you are okay. Sometime you will see the beta is 1.2, 1.3 because your fund manager is taking larger risk. I'm trying to explain as simple as possible. Maybe you can come in and help me out to add some more. So beta is one thing which you need to look at. Maybe next session when we do, we can get into beta and division. I think you should do that session completely because I'm in the camp saying that you can identify merit of product by looking at a fact sheet. And you can see the outcomes. Outcomes may take time to come in, but merit will speak about it. Third thing is that if the merit is stronger, outcomes are larger possibilities. Very important.
Yeah.
Maybe one session we should do on fact sheets.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll get one more guy who was very, very passionate about fact sheets, which we have one person in our office.
Okay.
थोड़ा वो हिंदी में बात कर सका और एक साउथ इंडियन है. You just have to look at and say, how do I DIY a customer?
Yeah.
Is substantial and how do you guide them? एक special session कर लेते हैं.
Yeah.
And I'll tell him to become much more easy because these are not technical languages. It's our ratios which are very simple to understand. But we need to. That's what I said. ये industry एक English speaking है. We don't produce a fact sheet in Hindi or vernacular language. ये fact है ना. Because we work on a norm. Industry में ऐसे होता है, हम ऐसे ही करेगा. And nobody will ask me that मेरे को मलयालम में एक fact sheet दे.
बट लोग पढ़ेंगे क्या हिंदी में मलयालम में फैक्ट शीट्स अगर होगा तो?
होगा. Today they are not reading because they are not able to understand. Once you make life easier and readable, chances है आपको लोग. But I think yesterday I was in one of the largest platform in Bangalore. कोई बोल रहा था तुम वर्नाकुलर में लेकर आओ यार. लोगों को नहीं समझता.
क्या फैक्ट
वर्नाकुलर वेबसाइट्स और कस्टमर जर्नी. I don't know how to code it. तुम लोग तो बड़ा कंपनी बड़ा प्लेटफॉर्म चलाते हैं, कुछ तो कुछ सोच सकते हैं. What we see Bharat from Bombay is not the real Bharat. ये मेरा व्यू है. हम भी एक कंज्यूमर प्रोडक्ट है. हमारे SIP ये सैचे बिजनेस है. हमारे पास 10 रुपए डेली सिप भी है. बट वो भारत अलग है. When you go deeper, underserved, bottom of the pyramid, you'll see this bigger issue. नहीं तो इंडस्ट्री में we have only a 5 crore 90 lakhs, 5 crore 80 lakh customer है, unique plan. Look at the population.
How many customers would you serve to?
We serve to 1 crore 40 lakhs, 22%
wow.
of the. So we run the largest retail ELSs. It's a 40,000 crore fund.
Okay.
So there we have a large retail. We've been consistently looking at how many new pans we require.
Wow.
Their depth is much higher. We're a very retail brand. Acts as a brand because we're part of the large retail bank. Our identity अच्छा है because we belong to a large bank subsidiary.
Yeah. It's commendable. Super interesting, super insightful conversation. Last question that I ask all my guests, it's a tricky one. If you were in the shoes of Kushal Lodha and if you were interviewing Mr. B. Gop Kumar, what is one question you would like to ask him towards the end?
This is the most trickiest question I have to ask. What will I ask him? What you don't do?
So what you don't do?
That also is difficult, but what I don't do is what I don't do.
That's a good question.
Huh?
That's a good question. I like it.
You like it, right?
Yeah.
What I don't do is I don't write too much of notes. What Kushal you do, in the sense that I have a wrong belief. Sorry, I'm dragging my wife. She believes I have a lack of memory. But my colleagues in the office believe that I have elephant memory. It works, right? You didn't understand the joke.
Yeah.
It works, right? Because my wife, she thinks that whatever she says, this bugger is forgotten. And other side is that my colleagues want me to forget things, but I will never forget. So it's the right combinations. And I don't write notes at all. And I don't know why I don't write it. But if you ask me questions like when did you meet me, when did you last talk to me, what are the numbers, I'm able to at least 90% replicate. And I thought that I should start that habit of writing. So I've got a digital notepad. I will not tell the brand. It's quite available in New York. Very fancy looking notebook. I bought it to my office. I didn't even use it for scribbling, looks like, and went back to my daughter. So some habits can't be formed.
So you don't believe in note taking at all?
No, most of the time, no.
So how do you retain information then?
I don't know. Sometimes it's God's gifts, I believe. But my wife doesn't believe again.
But then if you want to go back to a conversation and just recall क्या बात हुआ था, तो वो कैसे होता है फिर?
Recall कर लेता.
From your memory?
Yeah, memory, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
I think your wife needs to watch this podcast.
yeah, she will. She sometimes she watches and says that. Anyway, she only says that. Why do you drag me in your conversation? It's your job. You're supposed to do this. But anyway, कभी-कभी आ जाती है, क्या कर सकता हूँ. So
if your wife is watching this, what do you have to say to her?
Believe that I don't remember anything. Good luck for you. You're going to create a matrimonial havoc.
Oh God. This was the funniest answer I've ever got. And yeah, it was the funniest one. But thank you so much for doing this, sir. I really enjoyed this conversation and बहुत मजा आया, सीखने भी मिला. Looking forward to more episodes with you. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I think they enjoyed more than you. Looks like they were more laughing.
Yeah.
हम ऐसे ही है, क्या कर सकते हैं.
Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. Before we end this video, I'd like to thank Grow for being our title sponsor. With support like this, we can deliver actionable finance content to our audience. So go ahead and download the Grow app today and tell us in the comment section which guest you want so that we can invite them. Also, ऐसे कौन से questions है जो मैंने पूछने चाहिए थे, कौन से questions है जो मैंने नहीं पूछने चाहिए थे, ऐसे कौन से parts है आपको लगता है trim करने चाहिए थे, हमें comment section में बता देना ताकि we can give you the most value additive content. Thank you so much once again for watching this entire podcast and stay tuned for more amazing episodes of Conversation with Kushal.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.